is good to be anti-Islam. Islam is a monoculture, it is hate-filled, it's bigoted, it's anti-women, it's sexist, it's anti-children, it's anti-freedom, and it is obnoxious to our basic laws of Australia. I say this to Islamists, Australia will never be your country. Australia will never be an Islamic country. Every rational thinking person in Australia should vilify, insult Islam every day, 5 times a day if you feel like it. And I hope it hurts your feelings. I want to hurt your feelings. Who made up the rule that I'm not allowed to criticise or vilify Islamic ideology in Australia? I didn't make that rule up. It is my right to judge Islam. It is your right to speak freely. It is our right to oppose Islam in Australia. We do not want Islamic barbarity in Australia. Not all cultures are the same, and as a matter of fact, Australian culture is better than Islamic culture. Australian rule of law is better than Islamic rule. Equality of the sexes is better. Protection of minorities are better. Some things about Australian culture are just not negotiable. Free speech is not negotiable. Free elections are not negotiable.
Never! Never!
Australian politicians who seek votes from Islamists need to be voted out. We have to show politicians that appeasement of Islam is a vote loser. Islamic apology for terrorism is a vote loser. Being a dhimmi, being an Islamic useful idiot is a vote loser. Here's a politician, Senator Xenophon, with the Grand Mufti of Australia, saying what a great bloke he is. He doesn't even speak English after being here for 18 years because he believes English, Australian national language, is the language of the devil, so he refused to speak it, and Xenophon supports him. Don't vote for Xenophon or the Here is Xenophon again at Toowoomba, where they want to build a mosque and Islamic schools, the Islamic Community Centre. They want 60 Australian kids a week to go to the mosque to learn about Islam, and Xenophon supports that. There is no place in Australia for Sharia law. Islamists have a law that says it's okay to hit your wife with a stick. There is no place for a law like that in Australia. They say it's okay to clitorectomise and butcher the genitals of infants. There is no room for a law like that in Australia. They say it's okay to force a 6-year-old to get married and for a 53-year-old man to have sex with a 9-year-old. There's no place for a law like that in Australia. They think it's okay to give a 15-year-old boy a gun at the mosque in Parramatta so he can go out and shoot people. There's no room for people who think like that in Australia. Already, the Islamists are saying to our own federal government that Sharia law can only live in Australia alongside Australian law so long as Sharia is dominant. They are saying that already. There's no room in Australia for people who think or say that.
Get rid of it! Get rid of it!
Since 2005, our federal government have been seeking advice on how best to respond to the threat of homegrown terrorism. I say it's not homegrown if it is the firstborn children of Islamic immigrants. That is imported terrorism, not homegrown terrorism. The Australian government review of Australia's counter-terrorism machinery now identifies only last year that it is whole families, whole Islamic families in Australia are terrorists, and I quote, "There is now an intergenerational dimension with the families of known terrorists increasingly radicalised and involved," end quote. Whole families. I say that's not homegrown, that is imported terrorism. And they do exactly what they like, and our leaders let them. The National Children's and Youth Law Centre identifies 250 cases of child marriage in just 24 months. 250, that's identified by the National Children's and Youth Law Centre. The Victorian Women, Immigrant and Refugee Coalition sees 150 young women and girls a week who are seeking advice as to how to escape forced marriages in Australia, and we've only had one prosecution. Our leaders are failing us. These things are taught and preached in mosques. Mosques are a threat to our national security. Councils and shires and local governments are not protecting us. I want the federal government to take over, using the defence power to take over the regulation of mosques. They need to have prohibited activities. There must be no preaching of violent acts of jihad, no encouragement of terrorism, no promotion of financial support, and there must be no sedition by teaching the overthrow of government by a caliphate. All jihadis who want to leave Australia, let them go. But they must never come back. With female genital mutilation, I want the law changed. If your little girl is 4 years old and turns up at one of our 2 clinics and she had her private parts mutilated, as the mum and dad, you are guilty. We need to change the law so that mum and dad should prove they're innocent, not the other way around. One prosecution when we have 2 clinics here in Australia is unacceptable. I refuse to use Arabic words for face masks. Right now in Germany, the children are going to be forced to learn Arabic to make the immigrants feel welcome. I say ban Islamic face masks in Australia. I want more terrorism powers to our squads to do random searches of mosques. To have to phone up Parramatta after that murder and say we're coming around, can we have permission to search, is outrageous. When was the last time a bikie gang got a telephone call from the police to say we're coming to search?